How do, boys and girls? Is it patch time already? Man, the devs are just throwing these updates out, aren't they? Well, let's jump right in and see what changes have been made this time. Remember to like and sub if you like our unique brand of humour and witty bants. Let me know what you think of the recent update in the comment section too. So we'll start this off with the bug fixes, as there aren't really that many this time around. Starting off with a fix that could cause Steam stats and achievements to be reset. That one doesn't sound too good, especially if you've been playing for a while. There's also been a fix that was preventing Trapper from placing his bear traps near sabotage traps, fixed an issue that could cause killer prestige weapons to flicker during high stakes in-game combat, fixed an issue that caused the Saboteur perk to decrease sabotage speed when using a toolbox, fix an issue which could cause the survivors to lose pips when the killer leaves the game, fix an issue with the killer perk Whispers that was triggering when stood near dead or sacrificed survivors, and finally fix an issue which could render a downed survivor unable to interact or to be interacted with if a pickup interaction would fail, as in if they were picking you up and they got caught while doing so. On to the meat, the good stuff, the we're here for, the balance changes. Now this patch's balance changes all revolve around the killers, excluding one, maybe two, which I'm sure some of us are very grateful for. But hold on there, Billy Bob. You haven't quite heard the changes yet and you might want to turn that smile the other way. Let's go take a look at what's happened. The survivors are now unable to disarm or sabotage traps whilst walking and running. Can't say I've ever seen this happen, but hey, I guess I won't be doing it anymore. And they've also added a penalty to the wiggle build-up when a killer puts the survivor down, which, and don't quote me on this guys, I'm taking as, if the killer drops the survivor and then picks them back up again, they'll lose a bit of progress towards their escape. Let's move on to the killer perk balances, starting off with Bloodhound. Bloodhound, which allows the killer to see fresh blood marks from injured survivors for longer, has been buffed, and you can see the numbers on screen. Sloppy Butcher has had both a buff and a nerf, increasing the blood frequency at levels 1 and 2, but decreasing at 3. Sloppy Butcher is the perk that makes survivors bleed more, if you didn't know. Brutal Strength has also been buffed, increasing the barricade destruction speed by a fair amount. Insidious, the killer stealth perk, or as I like to call it peekaboo murder tactic, has had a buff, decreasing its time to become stealthy, quite considerably considering how powerful a tool it is. Here's one that might please you surviving peoples. Ayan Grasp, the infamous nah mate you're not going anywhere perk, has been nerfed. They've decreased the wiggle reduction effect percentages to give survivors more of a fighting chance when they've been grabbed. No One Escapes Death has seen some changes too, but perhaps not what you were after. They've given it a time limit of use after the gates have been opened, this being 120 seconds or 2 minutes if you prefer, whilst also decreasing the movement speed bonus the killer gets. Still no changes on the whole level 3 insta-down ability though. Shadowborn has been nerfed to reduce its field of view bonus for all levels of the perk, and Spies from the Shadows has been buffed, with an increased chance to trigger the effect at level 1 of the perk. Further changes here have increased the range slightly, also at level 1. And last but certainly not least, Unnerving Presence has had somewhat of a buff, I guess, I don't know, it depends more on you as a player more than anything else. It might end up being a buff to the survivors. Skill checks will now appear more frequently when in the terror radius of the killer. So on to my thoughts of the game as it is. Well, once again, I'm not really going to go over the bug fixes. I mean, we all know that they're essential to keeping this fantastic, asymmetric scarefest of a game going. But onto the balancing, let's go dissect each perk change. Starting out with Bloodhound and Sloppy Butcher, since they're very much linked. The devs seem to be encouraging survivors to be clever with their use of the environment, whilst escaping the killer's sight. While yes, this is a buff to the killer side, it's only really a buff to the smart killers, the ones that do actually watch the ground for blood marks instead of just relying on the orange scratch marks. These guys, it'll have very little effect on. This change also encourages survivors to find and heal each other. Anyone else seeing a buff to the empathy perk coming soon? Brutal Strength, I honestly did not feel like it needed to be touched, to be honest. I don't run with it on any of my killers, and I've not once looked at a chase where I've been stalled by a pallet and thought, nah, this is rubbish, I should be able to wreck this barricade faster. I mean, the devs have taken away the infinites from the survivors, which was a good change. But if they stay on the path that they've started here, they'll be taking away the effectiveness of the barricades, which will make it incredibly easy for even the noobiest killer to get his off. I mean, points guys, not wow guys, come on, head out the gutter. Insidious being decreased? Not entirely sure how I feel about that one. I mean, the perk itself heavily encourages hook camping, which I am very much against unless it's completely justified, as in being against a team of rank 1s that you just know are going to try to rescue each other. But I can see how much being able to stealth faster will change the game. Ayan Grasp, still not being reduced on break free time? Yes! I don't care what you guys say, if this hook's to be sabotaged, then the survivors to be Ayan Grasped. Ayan Grasped? Ayan Graspedite? I do, however, approve of the whole making it harder for the killer to walk when carrying a survivor. This is a nice rebalance that puts some fight back into the survivor's corner. No One Escapes Death. Well, let me say this. As a killer main, as in I pretty much play nothing but killer, I approve of the putting the time limit on, even if it is 2 minutes, which is a bloody long time. But still not putting a timer on the insta-down, I don't know man, even I think that's a bit crazy. I don't think they should remove the insta-down ability, by all means, but definitely put a timer on it. Perhaps one shorter than 2 minutes, perhaps not. Leave that one up to the devs. Shadowborn's reduced field of view seems pretty non-existent to me. I mean, I've seen what it looks like in comparison, but I honestly don't feel it's made that much of a change really, though perhaps Shadowborn is not as strong as it used to be. It seems that the whole clearer vision thing still hasn't been touched, but maybe if they make it so that you're more vulnerable to light due to the perk, it'll become a much less picked option. Spies from the Shadows buff is all good in my books, excellent choice to leave levels 2 and 3 alone, whilst just buffing level 1. Finally, Unnerving Presence. Still not sure about this one at all. I said earlier that it might end up being a buff to the survivors. Well, let me throw you guys a scenario and you can decide for yourselves. Let's say you're working on a generator. Those skill checks are bloody annoying, aren't they? Always popping up and making you get your bonuses and repair faster. Oh, what a bastard. See where I'm coming from here, guys? If you can't nail those skill checks, then yeah, this is going to screw you hard. But if you can, it's majorly helping you. It's going to help you repair the generators faster, even with Tall, Dark, and maybe Handsome Under the Mask stood right behind you. And it seems that's it for patch 105. If you liked the video, be sure to like, subscribe and comment and share it with all your Dead by Daylight loving brethren. You can keep up with the Apollo team by liking and following us on our official Facebook and Twitter pages. But if you just want to talk to me about why Wraith's Weeping Bell was kinda familiar, you can catch up with me on my personal Twitter, all of which I'll link in the description below. Don't forget to check out our main channel, Apollo Reviews, for weekly reviews on all your favourite games. A link to it can also be found in the description below. We got some pretty sweet Dead by Daylight themed vids coming at you lot real soon, including a complete noob's guide. So, if you're new to the game, you'll definitely want to be around for that one. Peace out everyone, we'll catch you next time.